Welcome to my Scrappin space. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin. And I have an oh so pretty butterfly card to show you how to make today. And you're going to be amazed at how easy it is. What do you say we get my face out of the way and we talk about paper crafting? I'm playing today with two supply items that are available through Celebration, which ends the last day of February 2025. One is this very pretty paper pack. As you can see, it goes with lots of colors, and you can make the card I'm making with really any of these papers. I chose this one because it just had so much color in it. The other thing I'm using is some bling that's also an option. So this paper pack's available when you make a $60 purchase from product, or you could choose the bling with a $60 purchase. Both are great options for Celebration, and I wanted to show you, if you've already gotten them, another use for them. So the card we're making is a butterfly card, and I'm using a die that's part of a set from Beautiful Butterfly, and it's called Beautiful Butterflies. Let's look at what's in our card. I started with a Melon Mambo card base, but as you can see from all the colors in here, I could pick whatever card base I had the most of and that I wanted to use up. I added a black matte because I felt like, here, let's fold the card base and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I just felt like it allowed the paper to pop a little bit, and it picked up and continued the black from the body of the butterfly. So you could do that, and it's very pretty, but when you add just that narrow black band, everything else just kind of pops, and it's easy to do. Let's do that step first, then we'll talk about the butterfly. So you could use whatever adhesive works for you. I'm a big fan of our Seal Plus, so that's what I'm gonna grab. It holds really strong, and for me, it's a little less messy. Now, I've said this before, you work paper cutting the way it works for you. I like a narrow band, so I cut in 1/8 inches. I have some good friends who are wonderful paper crafters, and they're not fans of cutting in 1/8 inches. So you could cut it in 1/4 inches too, and that just means instead of cutting 3 7/8 wide, which is what I did here, you would cut 3 3/4, and then you just see a little bit more black all the way around. All my measurements, my directions are going to be on my Scrappin with Joni blog. Then we're going to attach this to our card base. And again, I used Melon Mambo, but you clearly have lots of choices. Now, let's get to the star of the show. Though this paper has probably a supporting cast there. We're going to talk about the butterfly. I have some other pieces we'll get to in a second. So there's all kinds of butterfly dies, but I went with the largest one in the set. And then I also grabbed the body of the butterfly, and we're just going to cut it out of a black scrap. We've been using this in class this week, so as you can see, I have a spot there I can grab. And just one more thing before I grab my cut and emboss. You can put this on here however you want. I kind of like it at an angle. I feel like it shows a little bit more movement, but it's your card. You could cut it however you want. We're gonna get these out of the way and grab our cut and emboss machine. I love that the sides fold up when I don't need it. I am die cutting. So when I look at the directions on the first plate, which we use for everything, it tells me if I'm die cutting, I'm going to use plate 1, which I have, plate 2, and 2 of plate 3. The plate 3 is the clear ones. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1 of the 3s. We used it for cutting something else earlier. I have a little scrap left on it. And then, let me move this a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to put this kind of at an angle because that's just a look I like, but it's my card. You get to pick however you want it. So see how I don't quite have it on there square? That's okay. Then on the top, another plate 3. Regardless of the cutting system you're using, you always want to have a plate on the top. It protects what you're cutting, like your die cut or your embossing folder, and it also protects your machine. Okay. And we're just gonna, oh, do you know what? We forgot the body. I could have done it again, but why? Let's just cut both of them at the same time. That's easy to do. There we go. And then we're just gonna roll it through. And your machine should be going as smoothly as this one is. If it's not, then stop and check. Maybe you don't have the right plates. Maybe something isn't in there straight. I'm pulling my machine back just so I can pull it out here to show you. There we go. I work very close to my camera holder, and when I knock it, it's not pretty. So I try to avoid that. Let's pull these out. There we go. Get our plates out of the way. Now, usually when we die cut, we're either using the piece we cut out, like this tiny little body, or we're using the background. With the butterfly, we're actually doing both. That was a little confusing in class yesterday. A couple times people had to go back and find this piece. They tossed it because they only grabbed the white butterfly, which is usually what we do. So there's the body. I'm going to stop and put that piece away right away because I don't know about you, but I lose things on my crafting table. There we go. Then this piece, we need both this piece and this piece. I'm going to grab, I keep a little bowl to the side that holds the backings of my dimensionals and tiny little scraps like this, especially if I'm sharing something with you in a video and I want to, you know, look like I have my act together. Sometimes I just tap it against the table and let them fly where they go, but that would not be a great sound on here. So we're just going to do it the way we're supposed to, just like that. And I'm just pushing out the big pieces. And my butterfly is still in there. Then I'm going to wait till the camera catches up here. See that tiny little piece here, and there's a tiny little one here. Those are called release holes. And look what happens when I push them. Our butterfly comes out, and I'm very gently, I'm holding my die flat, like I'm not moving my die, I'm moving the paper, and I'm just gently pulling it up. Just like that. And then we're going to check two things. We're going to check that there's no paper left here. Just want you to be able to see what I'm talking about. And there's just a little piece that's going to go there. So otherwise this is clean and it's ready to use. We're going to put it back with this. Then here though, when I look here, you can see I still have a little pieces left. And I have learned the hard way, it's just easier to clean it before I put it away. Otherwise I grab it the next time, there's still pieces in there and I don't always catch them. And you just don't get as clean a cut if you have those little scraps left in there. So look at that, we're good. And that didn't take any time at all, did it? All right, now this piece is going back in its holder. So for class, I keep often the dies or embellishments in our clear stamp cases. We know where they are, they're easy to find in the card bin. And so let's finish putting our card together. So I'm going to start by putting down this white mat, and I'm just kind of centering it. I'm going to do it flat, just like that. I want to catch the corners. This would be a card you could do with any kind of print paper. That's going to go there. Now, here's our butterfly. First, I'm going to lift the wings a little bit on each side, and then I'm going to reach for some glue dots. And I'm going to use glue dots to attach the body. You could use multi-purpose glue or something else. I have better luck with glue dots just because sometimes I tend with the glue to have a heavy hand and then I get glue where I don't want it. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a glue dot here. And there's another one here. Just like so. Oops. And I'm going to just grab one more. I probably don't need it, but it's okay. Like that. Then I'm going to insert the body up here back in where it came from the die cut. Just like so. And you can see that pretty print underneath. You can lift these up a little bit if you want. And then I'm gonna go back in and add the body because I think that black against the white and all the prints really helps things to pop. So we don't need much here. And these little glue dots kind of spread out for you. So I'm just kind of pulling on it and it will kind of cover the whole body. And I'm gonna pull that up so you can kind of see, let the camera catch up. Whoa, that's really blurry. Sorry about that. It may not work. It's a clear glue dot. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, I've taken one glue dot and pulled it down the body. And that's just gonna go right over that. Then we need a little bling. It's a butterfly, so we're gonna go to those free. And there's so many colors on here, but you know what, I think I'm gonna go to the softer ones here. And we're gonna do 3 because on embellishments for a card, an odd number is always more visually pleasing. And I just like 3, it works. So when you're doing 3 embellishments, you're gonna do them in a roughly triangular shape. And that just means 1 embellishment's hanging out by itself and the other 2 are closer together. That roughly triangular shape is a concept I learned as a beginning paper crafter. I started as a scrapbooker, and that's often when you're designing a scrapbook page, your eye kind of follows that triangle. So you want pieces on there that do that. Okay, that's a pretty card, isn't it? And it was easy. Let's talk about the inside. There's a stamp set in the January to April mini that I love, and it's called With You in Mind. I love the size of the fonts. I think this is a stamp set I could get and use for a long time. Best wishes would work for wedding and anniversary. Thinking of you would work for sympathy. We can always use thank yous, and I love the size of the birthday. Plus, there's some little images you can stamp. If you haven't noticed this before, some of our stamp sets have that lovely little $1 million symbol down here. That means someone who achieved $1 million in sales in their career with Stampin' Up got to design this set, and this was designed by the lovely Julie. So let's do this. Let's grab that. So I stamped happy birthday from there, but again, it'd be a great thank you. You could use it for a lot of things. And we're gonna take this piece right here, and it's just a little snippet, and I am putting it across the top. And you can bring the front of your card to the inside. It just feels like your card's a little bit more together. I'm grabbing my multi-purpose glue. This one's clearly been sitting here for a while. See how it's kind of not wanting to come out? So I'm just gonna take off that top little bit that's dried out, get that out of the way, and then we can get to the real glue. I have a number of, oh, it's really coming out. I have a number of partial glue bottles here. We did a huge fundraiser event for 3 local school districts and their food insecurity programs that help feed kids on the weekend. And so we had all these partial glue bottles left from the event, so I've been using them up here. Sorry, so I just have glue where I don't need it. Let's just get that off of there so it doesn't get where we don't want it to go. Okay, so I have a little bit of glue, and I'm now putting this bright colored paper right along there. We're just gonna let that sit for a minute. I stamped this in Melon Mambo, but you could pick any color. You could do black, you could do whatever. Whoa, this glue really is going places. Let's see if we can use it up on the envelope. Sometimes I find when that glue just keeps coming out that it's near the end. It's like it's the last push of the glue. I'm not sure why it does that, but yes. So, you know what I'm gonna say, we're not sending this beautiful card in a naked envelope. So let's put some of that pretty paper right there on the envelope flap. So I'm going just around the outside. And then I'm grabbing a scrap of that paper that I used on the card front. Now, if you didn't want to add paper, or if you just had a bit of paper and didn't have enough for your envelope flap, you could stamp a butterfly on the envelope. For another card where we use this die, a totally different kind of card, different card design, we had cut the butterfly out of glimmer paper, which doesn't really work as well in the envelope flap, but we emboss the envelope flap with the butterfly embossing folder. So always have options. Just mostly try to avoid those naked envelopes. Your cards are worth more than a plain envelope. And so we're going to trim off this, just like that. And then, look what that does for that envelope. It's like there's a riot of color on there now. Someone's going to get this in the mail and think, one, they're going to feel really special that they got a handmade card in the mail. And they're going to want to open that right away. Like, I can't wait to see what's in this envelope. Okay, we'll get these little scraps out of the way. And just a touch of my tape runner is all I need to attach this on the inside. Like so. Isn't that bright and cheery? And I have a great niece who has a birthday this week. This card is going in the mail to her. I think she's going to love the butterfly. There we go. This is Ellie's birthday card. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it more than you know. If you liked what you saw, please share it with your crafty friends. And until next time, take care and keep crafting. It's good for you.